All right. Good afternoon and hello again, everybody. Welcome to the Enhanced Sports Show. My name is Louis Zenor, as you probably know by now. Uh, we'll be here and bring you another great Saturday of great sports talk here. Uh, if you like cold weather, though, maybe I should put in some skiing reports. Well, we will cover that later on. The number to call is 512-543-4662. I'll repeat it again, 512-543-4662. 1 second, please, while I finish the introduction. But I'll bring you in. Don't worry. I always got to do the introduction first, guys. We have a lot to cover this week. We got NFL divisional action. We're going to recap the so-called wild card, if you want to call it wild, because it really wasn't. MLB hot stove is around the corner, and NHL news as well. Don't forget, you can also listen on. Oh, excuse me. You can check us out on YouTube. Just go to YouTube and type in the Enhanced Sports Show, and you'll hear the show in its entirety. All right, so let me bring in my gang here. Betty, is that you? All right. Steve Kent. All right, and an anonymous caller. Would you state your name, please, for the record? One of those callers. Hello, are you there? Unavailable. I hate when they do this. All right, so we'll just get on with it right now. As I mentioned, that last week's wild card, well, for the most part, was pretty uneventful. I'll show you what I mean. As we take a look at last week's action here. For one thing, the Texans were just over the Browns. Sorry, Betty. 45-14, despite the fact of Joe Flacco having a game. He had 307 yards, but he also had 2 interceptions to go a touchdown. And when the interceptions outnumber the touchdowns, you're probably going to have a bad day, at least from what I know. Singletary had a decent game with 66 rushing yards and a touchdown, 13 carries, and Collins had 96 yards, 1 touchdown on 6 carries as well. The big surprise to me was this game right here, the Chiefs versus the Dolphins. I thought it was going to be a much closer game than what I thought. I mean, I thought maybe, the Dolphins would put up a little bit more of a fight. I thought this is going to be like the best game of the weekend last weekend. And every time I say that, it goes the opposite direction, of course. So the Chiefs beat up on the Dolphins 26-7. Mahomes had 262 passing yards and a touchdown. Chero had 88 rushing yards, 24 carries, and a touchdown, and Rice had 130 yards and 1 touchdown. And that didn't go the way I expected. For all you Cowboy haters out there, I know there's a few of you. You got your wish. The Packers beat up on the Cowboys at home, 48-32. Yeah, okay, go ahead. Rub it in. Go ahead. Sure. Despite the fact that Dak Prescott had a pretty good game, 403 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Jones had 118 rushing yards, 21 carries, and 3 touchdowns. Dobbs, I'm saying that right, 151 receiving yards, 1 touchdown. Now, I'm going to go into that a little bit with the Dallas game here, because that's necessary, since we already okay. Since we all know about the how that turned out. I'm saying I gotta go back there. Yeah, but and to lose that game at home, I mean, you had a great year all year long at home, and then you run this bulldozer of a team with the defense, or their offense rather, and they just took us by surprise. I mean, I was expecting Love to be like another to pull off the same type of results as his predecessor, but hey, I was wrong. Yeah, I mean, I really was surprised. I thought Dallas at home, they've been solid at home all year, and like I said, Love is no Aaron Rodgers, but he showed that he is able to step over the rest of them, and he's going to be like, I think, the new face of the franchise as it looks right now. But I don't know how they're going to hold against San Francisco tomorrow. That might be another story altogether. I mean, that's gonna be a very tough matchup. And that's gonna be tonight's game. We'll dive into that a little bit later. And I already hear the comments like, "Let's just kiss and say goodbye." The Dallas Cowboys. Yeah, yeah, sure, of course. I know there's a lot of Cowboys haters out there, and of course, well, you know, Packers won, and I congratulate them that, even though it didn't go the way I expected it. But I just hate when others rub it in. But then again, I kind of expected that. All right. So let me just get into that little story here because the Cowboys, had that they did put up a lot of yardage as well, and it looked like it was going to be, um, a runaway game. That's what I was thinking. And unfortunately, it didn't have to be the case. All right. And other, yeah, yeah. Mhm. It should have. I was going to say, why didn't you find McCarthy? I mean, you had a Judgment Day, last week, and should continue this week, and they keep McCarthy. Why? Okay, yeah, I get it. He's had 3 good seasons of 11 to 12 wins, but in the playoffs, you're a dud. You haven't even got past the first round last 3 years since you've been coach. I mean, how much do you think that Jerry Jones is going to put up with that with a team that does well in regular season but comes up short in the playoffs? If I was Jones, I would have fired him right after the game. I know I'm saying first people, but come on. You got to step up in the playoffs. No. Yes, yes. Oh, yes. Yeah. Yes, he did. Oh, we got more callers here. Okay. All right. Yeah. Let me bring in some callers here for a minute, though. First, I think Diana's here. Mike, Matthew, Matthew. He's there somewhere. And unavailable wherever you are. Just come in when you can. All right. So, as you were referring, Steve, go ahead. Yeah. It was. Exactly. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised by that at all. Yeah. Mhm. Right. I think they'll both should have been shown the door. Maybe they'll show the door maybe as the postseason drags on. But that was not a great performance by the Cowboys at all, and they should have won single handedly at home. I mean, that's what I thought. Betty, your thoughts on that melee by the Packers? Ah, yeah. No, no, I guess it really isn't to some of us. Right, Mike? Well, if I recall, Mike, I think you're more of a for. Let's put it this way: I'm more of a fan of Green Day than I am of Green Bay. Oh no. Okay, next. Uh, Diane, help. Yeah. Um. Well, did you get a chance to see the game at all? Hmm. Yeah, but it was not what I hoped for. Wait, Steve Davidson, are you there? He doesn't seem to be there. I'll find him. Matt, your thoughts? I know he's there. I'll keep him on anyway. All right, so to add it up, it went like this. If I can just get my here we are. So anyway, the Cowboys gained 510 passing 510 yards. And Dak Prescott completed 41 of 60 passes for 403 yards, two touchdowns, and two interceptions. But of course, those numbers, are deceiving, as Steve said. And they trailed 41 to 16 going into the fourth quarter, gained 216 yards, including 210 from Prescott, and two passing touchdowns. It was known as garbage time. That means the game out of reach. Prescott said, "Well, we were horrible. I was horrible. And that was it. We got it going a bit late, but nothing mattered at the point. I thought that's really all I know how to do. But it's not about that. Yeah, right. But it's not about winning the playoffs and getting the last game and winning that as well. The Cowboys gave up the most points in their postseason history, 48 to 32. That's right. They never gave up 48 points in a postseason game before. A stunning result in which owner and CEO Jerry Jones used several times in his post-game media conference. And you know how Jerry can be during those times. Well, I do. It also heads Coach Mike McCarthy's future in doubt, which he should have been fired anyway. Jones said there is nothing set. What I plan to do was meet. What I was going to plan to do was meet him after the game and go over how he played in that last game and get ready for the next week ahead. That was to be the agenda. Now was about just dismissing the team on that Monday. Prescott's future is also in doubt next season. He has a $59.4 million cap next season, so he will be the Cowboys quarterback next season. But beyond that, are the Cowboys willing to account for willing to commit to his $50 million per season long-term deal for him? We'll see. Prescott delivered an MVP type season with the league, leading 36 touchdowns and 9 interceptions, but was only 2 for 5 in postseason. His 8 seasons, which is 8 seasons in the league, and has never, I repeat, never gone past the divisional round. He's supposed to be the face of the franchise. Jones was asked if Prescott's performance would have changed his mind. Jones says, "I had not thought about that at all, so I'm not going to comment on that." So question is, okay, he's going to be back next season, but what about beyond that? Will the Cowboys be willing to make that commitment? Betty, your thoughts on the future of Prescott with Dallas? He'll move on. I was afraid someone's going to say that. Steve Kent. Hmm. Okay, yeah, I agree with that. I'd like to welcome another caller from state of Indiana, Melissa. Welcome back. Uh, your thoughts on the Cowboys' ugly performance in the wildcard game, and what about the future of Dak? Hmm. A lot of people think he's going to move on. All right, Mikey. I think everything's going to move. All right. Is there anybody in the room that does not think he's going to move on past the 2024 season? All together? See me, Betty? Yeah. I think everybody's in agreement that he's going to move on, not and after the 2024 season is over. I think we can all be in agreement in that. We do. I see what you mean. The Cowboys. You're saying the Cowboys are going to dump him. Yeah. Yes, and he has delivered. Right. Right. No, not at all. Yes. Right. Exactly. Yes. Yeah. I don't think they were. And he's not delivering the postseason, so that's been the big problem right there. Yes. It's defensively, they're not. No doubt. Oh yeah, yeah. Yes, exactly. All right. James, any thoughts? Easy. All right. Okay. All right. All right. Moving along. The only real good game I think the whole weekend was the Lions of the Rams in a very close one, very tight game, 24-23. Stafford did the job, 367 yards passing, two touchdowns. Williams had 61 rushing yards on 13 carries, and Nunca had 181 receiving yards on one touchdown. Very good game, very tight game, close game. That's what you expect in the playoffs because you're supposed to step it up a bit, and make it a tightly contested contest. That was the only real decent game I think that was the whole weekend. And the big surprise, another team losing. Well, I'll get to that in a minute. Uh, well, good news for Diane at least. The Bills, they got up the Steelers 31-17. Rudolph the Reynolds quarterback had 229 passing yards, two touchdowns, and interception. Oh boy. Cook had 79 rushing yards, 18 carries, and Freemuth 76 receiving yards. You got to be proud of your Bills, I think. Yeah, that was not really an easy game, but um, they they, they made it good. Yeah, I couldn't hear you, Matt. So could you speak up, please? Just let me get him here. So that didn't come as a surprise. I was hoping though for the upset, with the Steelers, but it didn't turn out that way. So they're gone. That was a big surprise. And Buffalo is going to play again in tomorrow's game. We'll get to that in a little while. And the big one, well, Eagles went down to the Buccaneers 31-9. That was a big shock. I wasn't expecting that at all. Floyd didn't have a fight at all. I mean, just looked too shabby there. So the two top teams in the NFC out. Kind of shocking. All right. Is that you, Steve Davidson? Dana, have you heard from Steve? Okay. Hmm. I think I know what's going on. Well, I'll explain later. All right. So so overall, what was everybody's opinion of these first round playoff matches? Betty, we'll start that with you. Betty goes first. True, true. Yes. Really were. Right. Yes. Yes. Steve Kent. Okay. You bet. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes. 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 30 years. No. And Patricia. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course. Right. Yeah. That's not a shock at all. Uh all right. So now the thing is though, as we all know that this is a time of year where you gotta keep your players healthy, of course. And although Buffalo did win last week's game, uh well, let's put it this way. They're a train wreck right now. As the Bills head into the as the Bills will head into the Chiefs game this weekend. Head coach Sean McDermott ruled out wide receiver Gabe Davis with a knee injury, safety Taylor Rapp with a calf injury, linebacker Balin Spector back injury, and quarterback Christian Benford with a knee injury. Okay, this is looking really nice. This will be the second straight game that Davis and Rapp will miss due to injury after they were injured in the final week of the regular season against the Dolphins. Spencer and Bedford were both injured in last week's wildcard win over the Steelers. Bills linebacker Tyrell Dodson, who suffered a shoulder injury, and cornerback Rasul Douglas with a knee injury, are looking for a return after their brief injury. So, as a matter of fact, I'm going to run down the list of injuries for all the teams that are in this week, and you'll see what I'm talking about because this is just a complete mess. All right, you guys ready? Oh, good. And has ever got their TV sets on? Turn it down, please. Yeah, good lord. All right. Um, Here's one. Tight end Mark Andrews is questionable to play the Saturday's matchup with the Houston Texans. While he was tending upward, he is not expected to play. Cornerback Marlon Humphrey, on the other hand, did not practice week and was ruled out with a calf injury. Okay. Andrews was sustained a major ankle injury on November 16th and practiced this week for the first time since the injury. With Andrews participant in practice Wednesday and Thursday, Ravens head coach John Harbaugh described his status as still questionable. He would need to be activated off the injury list as of yesterday to be eligible to play. The Ravens are not going to make a move and will pivot back to the original goal of Andrews returning into the AFC Championship game should they be able to advance. Three-time Pro Bowl expressed confidence in the team earlier this week. Baltimore managed just fine the passing game during their 6 games, which Andrews was sidelined. Backup and Isaiah Likely notched 21 receptions for 322 yards and 5 touchdowns in that span. And it's good to go for today. And that's how it's likely to be. No pun intended. Alrighty. Over in Houston, who doesn't have a problem, a mostly clean injury report is highlighted by the return of multiple defenders, defensive ends Jonathan Greenard, Will Anderson Jr. They both missed practice Wednesday due to ankle injuries, but returned as full participants on Thursday, contributing 12.5 and 7 sacks respectively this season, and they're both slated to play in this upcoming game. And the first game was about to get started between Baltimore and Houston, excuse me. Defensive end Jerry Hughes is the only defender who won't go today for the Texans. He missed the entire week of practice due to an ankle injury. Okay, so let's run down the list of injuries here. What is this, a football game or a mass unit? Okay, for the Texans versus Baltimore Ravens, here it goes. Tight end Mark Andrews was questionable with an ankle injury. Not going to happen now. Wide receiver Devin Duvernay, also questionable with a back injury. Linebacker Del'Shawn Phillips, questionable with shoulder injury. Safety Ardavarius Washington, a pectoral injury, questionable. Ends that. Oh, and CJ Humphrey with calf injury, out. That's definitely out. For Houston, fullback Andrew Beck, questionable with a back injury. Offensive tackle George Fant, type of illness not given. It's questionable. Defensive ends Jerry Hughes with an ankle injury, out. All right. For tonight's Packers 49ers game, which could be a dud. For the Packers, cornerback Jari Alexander, shoulder and ankle questionable, but I think it's going to be out. Running back A.J. Dillon, thumb and neck, questionable. Linebacker Isaiah McDuffie, questionable with a neck injury. Punter, I think it's punter. Daniel Whelan, illness, questionable, didn't say what. And offensive linebacker Kingsley Ingbear with the knee, he's out. Whelan is sick, but is expected to play, said Packers coach Matt LaFleur. If you're that sick, I don't know if you should play anyway. 49ers have the least, I think, amount of injuries here as linebacker Dre Greenlaw, Achilles tendons, questionable, and defensive lineman Ceylon Farrell with the knee injury, he is out. Safety George Udom should be activated for the injury reserve list ahead of today's game. And Coach Kyle Shanahan will report on Thursday. For tomorrow's games, that's the Bucs versus the Lions. Running back Chase Edmonds, questionable with a toe injury. Outside offensive linebacker Shaquille Barnett, questionable with an ankle injury. Quarterback John Wolford, questionable with an illness, not given. For the Lions, tight end Sam Laporta, questionable with a knee injury. Linebacker James Houston, questionable with an ankle injury. And wide receiver Caleb Raymond. It loves Raymond, though, out with a knee injury. Okay, maybe not. Everybody loves Raymond, but you get the idea. Okay. For the Bills. Diane, you're sitting down. Okay, Buffalo fans, here we go. Linebacker Terrell Bednar, questionable with an ankle. I'm going over the names over again. Quarterback Rasul Douglas, questionable with a knee injury. Another cornerback, Taron Johnson, questionable with the concussion. I don't think he should play. Hunter Sam Martin, left hamstring, questionable. Wide receiver. The next 4 guys are out. Wide receiver Gabe Davis out with a knee injury. Christian Benford out with a knee injury. Like I said before, linebacker Balin Spector back injury out, and Taylor Rapp safety out. Oh boy, Di, what do you make of that? I mean, oh wait, well we got the Kansas City Chiefs. Excuse me, defensive end Charles Odemayu, illness is questionable. Linebacker Willie Gay, questionable with a neck injury. Wide receiver Justin Ross, hamstring questionable. Sorry about that. Offensive linebacker Wanya Morris, out with a concussion. Smart move. Keep him out. Defensive tackle Derek Beatty, out with a tricep injury. Ooh. Wide receiver Sky Moore, that's more with two O's, out with a knee injury. And wide receiver Kadarius Tony out with a double whammy of a hip and ankle injury. Wow, what a list. All right, guys. So what do we make of this mass unit? I mean, well, these players out with their various injuries, and who's got the advantage here? I mean, is well, Diane. What do you make with Buffalo with all those injuries out? Some players. Uh, that's your doubts, I see. Betty, any thoughts? Yeah, it's a train wreck, folks. It's a train wreck. Let me bring in Jimmy. Jimmy, your thoughts on this train wreck of injuries? Yes. Right, especially playoff time, especially then. Hockey, you can come back pretty easily. I mean, I've seen players with hockey who've come back from concussions and leg injuries and whatnot, and they come back, fine. That same thing with basketball. Football is a little different, and yet hockey is a more violent game. I hate when I get these pop ups. Uh, James, your thoughts? James, yeah, all the injuries. Yeah, Melissa, crazy doesn't begin as a Hathor. I mean, I've never seen this many injuries, especially in a postseason. You know, I mean, your team is relying on you, and you get all this happening. You know, well, of course, with a lot of games playing on AstroTurf, it's no wonder. But yeah, I was saying, guys, the turf hurts. What can I tell you? Right, Dana? Just checking to see if you're still there. Just checking to see if you're still there. Matt, Mike. I don't know if I call it, embarrassing, but well, I mean, it's a shame to have it go down like that, but I wouldn't know if I call it embarrassing. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Well, because that would be, uh, delaying the start of the postseason. That would go into mid-February and then almost into March, and I don't think the NFL wants to do that. So we got to factor in that too. Otherwise, you run into spring training baseball, and that's the last thing I think they want to do. Well, that's just my opinion, though. When you really think about it. All right, so we'll move on. Forgive me if I'm going a little bit too much into football, but hey, it's that time of year, guys. What can I say? Right? Right. Yeah. Well, we're all football crazy now. All right. It's a song. We're all crazy now. No. All right. Um, let's go over here. Okay. Jim Harbaugh, who won the national championship now 12 days ago with Michigan, is was scheduled to meet with the Chargers for the head coaching job. According to multiple reports, Harbaugh met with the Chargers on Monday about the head coaching position. Reporters indicated that a meeting was coming as Harbaugh looked to be heading to the NFL after leading Michigan to a title just under 2 weeks ago. The Chargers have a number of positions, including thank you, Rams defensive end coordinator Mike McDonald, who spent one season as Michigan as the defensive coordinator under Harbaugh. Harbaugh went 44-19 and won the regular season and 5-3 in the playoffs in 4 seasons as the 49ers head coach. The 49ers went to the NFC title game um, to kick off that run and lost to his brother John, who was coaching the Ravens in Super Bowl 47. There's also been word of interest from the Raiders, though there has been no forming at the time. But remember, that has now been changed because the Raiders now do have a new head coach. I'll explain that later. All right. So what do you think of Jim going back to the NFL and leaving Michigan? I mean, just winning a championship for crying out loud. That's how you reward him. Betty, your thoughts? I mean, you win a championship and then you want to bolt out of there. Well, how do you not see potential in just winning a championship? Hmm. I get, yeah, money talks and you know what walks, right? Right. Yeah, I get it. I understand that. All right. Steve Kent, if you're still there, I think he disappeared. Uh, James, James. Okay. All right. Jimmy. No, he shouldn't be, but I know we shouldn't be surprised this day and age, but still, just to win a championship, and that's how you pay him. Right? I've seen it happen before, and it is happening again. But I don't think that's right. I mean, you should be happy for your team you won, and you would want to stick around. Now, like, okay, I quit. You call it right? Oh, there you are. You're here. You think so? I think he should. I mean, who's to say he's not going to have repeated success? I mean, I think the league would be a little premature here. But example of that. Okay, now it's not football, it's hockey, but some of you might know what I'm talking about. When the Rangers won the cup back in 1994, a lifetime ago, for some of you, Mike King, brought the Rangers Stanley Cup, and the next year, in the offseason, he bolts out to St. Louis. And although there's some people saying that he violated his contract, that it's called like a breach berth. So it's a perfect example of how your goal is to win a championship, but the next year after that, you just want to leave. I mean, come on, you bought the team out from, the doldrums and brought the excitement back into the city and the team in the city as well. And you just want to leave us flat? Come on. I mean, really. I mean, sure you did your job, but you want to keep doing and making more winners instead of, going back down the scrap pile, which is where they ended up a few years later. And if you have a contract, you should honor it and keep it, or be so quick to leave. Yeah. Anybody else have any thoughts on that? Yes, Dana? Oh, yeah. I think I go with Belichick, maybe, but Belichick, he's out. Yeah. That's fine. That's fine. There's no right or wrong here, guys. There's no right or wrong. I think what, some of these coaches do is wrong, just leaving them flat, not doing a title. But, it's I just don't see any justice in that. And right now, let me get an update here in this game here, between the Ravens and the Texans. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna go right now. Hold off on that. Ooh, we got a score already. Baltimore's up. I like it. I like it. All right. But we'll get back to that, later in the show. Sorry to keep you guys in suspense, but that's what I do here. Devil. All those in favor say yes. Okay, moving on. Okay, so yeah, I go in order, with my topics here. I hate getting that echo. All right. Well, speaking of the Detroit Lions, they have a miserable postseason history, as most of us know. But this is not your father's Lions team, or maybe your older brother's. Oh boy. According to the ESPN stats, since Nevada legalized sports betting way back in 1949, I thought it was older than that. The Lions, 6.5 favorites for tomorrow's game against the Bucks, is the largest ever for the team in the postseason. This surpasses the Lions when they were 4-point favorites in the 1970 division game against the Dallas Cowboys when the Lions lost. Ready this, guys? Some of you might remember this. The Lions lost the game to the Cowboys 5-0, which is the lowest score ever for a playoff game, even to this date. How do you win a game 5-0? That's sad. Yeah. Two key words there. No offense. Although they're 6.5 favorites, roll favorite polls rolls shows the Ravens and 49ers giving 9.5 points to their divisional matchups. This has been a long time coming for the Lions. Oh yeah. They had not been favorites in the playoffs, for sure, but they also have not been in the playoffs that much. Said by DraftKings Director of Sports Operations Johnny Alveo, as they told ESPN. This team has just had many postseason opportunities. How true. This is the first time in Lions playoff history that they've hosted two postseason games at home. About that. And if they manage to win this, and they're using the word if, it'll be the first time since 1957 they have won two playoff games in the same season. The Lions are just one of four teams that never appeared in the Super Bowl, along with the Jaguars, Texans, and the Browns. Sorry, which missed the postseason after starting this year off at 1-5. Like the Browns during the wild card round, the Lions are the betting favorites as they root for the team to finally find success in the month of January. Yeah, so Lions are favored, and I can see why, especially after last week's performance. I have to agree with it; they're the favorites, and I think they're the surprise team this year. Nobody expected them to do this well. I think it surprised a lot of people. What do you think, so Betty? Hold it, Danny. Betty goes first. Betty, yeah. Your comments on the Lions' success, because I didn't expect this at all. Yeah, right. It is great. I wish Taylor was here. Okay, Betty. Now, I mean, Dan. Now you can comment on the Lions. Yeah, Yeah, Steve. Steve, your thoughts on your thoughts on the Lions? Yes, ma'am. Mm, mhm. All right. Well, don't give me your opinion. Don't give me your thoughts on who's going to win yet. All right, James. Yeah, there's always that little, Mike. Yeah. Yes, Melissa. Yes, Diane. All right. Matt, if you're there, say something. Mm, yeah, something must be wrong with his mic. Maybe it's Mike. Yeah. Well, that's part of the downfalls of live TV and live radio, folks. I mentioned the Raiders have a new coach, and they do, as Antonio Pierce has been removed from the interim tag and named him the official coach for next season. How about that? It confirms multiple reports of the deal, and the comment read, "If you get a chance, coach a team for a part of a team, you have a shot to impress," and that's what Pierce did. The Raiders responded to him after a strong season as interim coach and has led Pierce to land the job on a permanent basis. Pierce didn't do so badly. 5-4 as an interim coach. That's not bad. And had the fans chanting owner Mark Davis to hire him. Raiders players showed their support behind him, as most notably by Devontae Adams and Max Crosby. Raiders legends, even though they didn't give their name, came to support him. Pierce energized the franchise and changed the culture of the organization. This is a There is a risk in hiring him. There's a risk in hiring all coaches. Duh. Uh, but in the end, not even Davis could not ignore the support for Pierce to be named a full time coach. You're gonna take a risk. That's what you do. Come on, people. But I like this. I like this move. Pierce getting the coaching job. I think that the Raiders are going to do well next season. Benny, your thoughts on Antonio Pierce? Great player, by the way, too, in the past. Great player. Yeah, let Benny finish first. No comment. All right, Dana. All right. All right. Steve. Yeah. Mike. Mhm. Diane. Jimmy. Yes. Oh, Jimmy. Don't forget, he came in mid-season and finished up this part 5-4. He is respectable. Yes. Right. Yeah. All right. Anyone else? Oh, Betty, I want to get your thoughts though on Mike Tomlin with him with staying with the Steelers because it looks like he's going to stay, even though despite the loss to the Bills last week, they can be better. Yes. And one more football note here concerning the NFL pre-game festivities. I forgot about what the halftime show was, but yes. Hold on, let me. Well, I got the pregame lineup here. All right, country music legend Reba will perform the national anthem. I like it. I like it. Rapper Post Malone will sing "America the Beautiful." Ah, well. And newcomer, I'm not familiar with this name. Maybe someone is. If I am, her name is. I think it's pronounced Andra Day. She performed "Lift Every Voice." I assume she's new. I don't really know much about her. If anybody does, let me know, please. The Super Bowl will be held on February 11th in Las Vegas. Usher, Usher will be the performer at the halftime show, or as I call it, the mini concert. Uh, yeah, it's a mini concert when you think about it. Uh, yes, the game and all the festivities will be held on CBS. That's Channel 2 in this area. I don't know about the rest of you, but you can fill me on that later. So get ready. All right, Steve, you got anything from the UFC news? Steve, anything from USC? UFC? Yes. Okay. Wait. Yeah. Yes. 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 Yeah. Right. Yeah. Right. Exactly. And Mama said, "Knock you out." Right. Okay. All right. Okay. Next. All right. Anything else, Steve? Steve, anything else? Is it? I see. All right. Okay. Okay. Anything else, Steve, or move on? And your trivia. Okay. Would it be Irvin Magic Johnson? Magic Johnson. Remember, he announced he had HIV that day, guys. That was the clue. That was the clue. Okay, Di, go on. Stephen Curry and Thompson. Curry and Thompson. Yep. Muggsy. Muggsy. 5'3". 5'3". Shorter than I am. That's shorter than I am. Okay. All right. Don't make a big deal about that. Sheesh. All right. I should have kept my mouth shut. All right. On to NBA here. All right. The Greek Freak is still the top vote getter in the league overall, while LeBron James is for the West. As the third round of results ended, actually, the voting is today. Fan voting will conclude today if they haven't already. The All Star votes comprised of 50% by the public, 25% by the players, and 25% by the media. Although I think that the players should have more of a say than the fans. The Sixers, Joel Embiid, and the Celtics, Jason Tatum, are second and third in front court voting in the East. Both of them are joined by Giannis and well, joined by Giannis in the book. Each of them and Giannis are joined in the starting lineup by league vote getters Tyrese Halliburton of the Pacers, Trae Young, based on his round of voting, Bucks guard Damian Lillard, 1,730,036 votes, who trails Trae Young with 1,815,098 votes, and trails Young for the backcourt spot in the East with voting to end today if it hasn't done already. In the West, LeBron will be joined by Nikola Jokic of the Nuggets and Kevin Durant of the Suns in the front court. The Mavericks, Luka Doncic, and the Warriors, Stephen Curry would start in the backcourt. Shai Alexander at 2,330,113 trails Curry with 2,616,154 votes for the second backcourt spot as the closest spot in the West, overtaking starting a spot in the West. All right, Betty, your thoughts on the All Star on the voting here between the East and the West? What do you like? Say it again. Yeah, of course. I know, but what do you make of? Okay, but what do you think with the Greek Freak versus with the East and LeBron with the West as far as the fan voting goes? Sure. I also like the fact they're going back to the East West format and none of this other stuff like team LeBron or team whatever and making it like into like a yeah someone's got their TV set on. I know you guys are watching the game, but just turn the sound down. I'm watching the game too. Everyone's got a phone going on. Somebody turn it down, please. Yeah, I just like the way the fact that it's going to be back to the old format. None of this gimmick stuff. So we have to look at it that way. All right. Um, got some tennis news here. Everybody wants to know. Um, Novak Djokovic heads to the first round of the Australian Open with a three-set victory over Thomas Martin. I'll get his last name in a minute. On Thursday, the 24-time major champion is 92-8 at Melbourne Park, where he's won 10 titles there and rides a 31-match winning streak. Wow. Only Roger Federer with 117 and Serena Williams 101, 105 was have played more matches there. The Joker has been doing health issues with a sore right wrist. He lost sets in the first two rounds against qualifier Dino Hasmeric and Alexei Proprian when he challenged a heckler and said, "Say it to my face." As he should. Okay, Thomas Martin Echeverry, he did not even break on a point. Not that Echeverry did not challenge him. Really going for his ground strokes and chasing down drop shots to the point where he had to veer off court and to avoid the net in the third set and nearly crashed into the umpire's chair. Oh boy, that's pretty bad. As Dvorak got closer to victory, he started to put his index finger to his ear after hitting winners, bringing more support and news to the Rod Laver crowd. After closing out with a pair of aces, Dvorak moves into the fourth set here, and his celebration was rather calm. He'll now face either Ben Shelton or Adrian Monario, both ranked in the top 20. So the Joker still got it. So he's doing pretty good. By the way, are there any tennis fans here in the crowd today? Can you give it any thoughts? Nobody's into tennis anymore? Wow. Mike, go ahead. Yeah, he looks pretty solid here. But on the women's side, oh boy, we got an upset for you. Um, Inga Swiatek lost to a 50th ranked player, Linda uh, Norskova, this morning. Uh, Norskova won 11 of 12 points in the second set as the momentum shifted in the third match, and became only the third teenager to uh, top seed women's player since 1989. Hmm. Graduated that year in high school too. Never mind. Highlighted by big serves and ground strokes, the unseeded Wozniak and held her cool head under pressure in the last game to serve it out in a three-set victory, meaning there are no more top 10 players in either half of the draw. Wow. Norskova said she was completely exhausted, both mentally and physically, after a post-game news conference, and who wouldn't be? I just believed this game I wanted. Swaztek, though, is a four-time major champion, but has never gone past the semifinals at Melbourne Park. Even so, she was on an 18-match winning streak, and is expected to account for the 19-year-old Norskova, who is making her main draw debut in this tournament. Remember, guys, it's summer down there. Swiatek defeated 2020 Australian Open champion in the first round, and to rally from a 4-1 set down in third to beat Danielle Collins, the 2022 champion. Now, Norskova will face Wimbledon semifinalist Elena Statalainen in the fourth round. That's going to be tough. She is a good player. Yeah. I thought we had some tennis fans in the crowd. Must have been mistaken. And another big upset. Naomi Osaka, she lost her first round match against French woman Caroline Garcia in straight sets on Monday. That's right. And Garcia did not even face a single match point. Wow. After the match, Osaka reflected on spending time away from her daughter and wished she would have done better for her. You did all you could, you know. Osaka joins the ranks of a growing number of women's players who have returned to competition after giving birth, such as Angelique Kerber, Elena Statilova, who will play on Monday, Tulana Maria, and Victoria Mascarena have all done it and are still playing at near or above their level before being placed on maternity leave. It will take Osaka some time to get to that point. She just needs to play more matches, and she plans to do so. She told the media her upcoming schedule will include Indian Wells, Miami, Charleston, and one non-U.S. stop, as in Dubai. All right. So, okay, moving on. So upsets do happen, though, guys. I mean, no matter how good you are, because you never know what your competition is going to be like. So, keep that in mind. Yes. All right. Indiana Pacers acquire All-Star forward Pascal Siakam and sends Bruce Brown, Jordan Norwa, and 3 first-round picks to the Raptors. The announcement came on Thursday. As part of a separate deal, the Pelicans trade Kira Lewis and a 2024 second-round pick to the Pacers. That was announced as well. The Pacers ship Lewis to the Raptors. 2 of the first-round picks going to the Raptors are for 2024. the Pacers' own selection, and the lesser of the Jazz, Rockets, Clippers, Thunder pick. That's right, 4 teams. Eek. Siakam spent all of his 8 seasons with the Raptors, averaging 22.2 points per game this season with 6.3 rebounds and 4.9 assists. He says he's excited about the new deal and is expected to be eager of his new contract this summer. Siakam can become a free agent. He is making nearly $38 million this season alone. Wow. The Pacers, who are sixth in the East, are the highest scoring team in the league. Siakam is going from Toronto, that ranks first in fast break points per game, to the Pacers, which ranks second. The Pacers will also face the Raptors 3 more times this season. 2 of those games will be held in Toronto. The Pacers also move forward James Johnson on Wednesday since signing with the Pacers in mid-December. All right, Betty, your thoughts on Siakam going to the Pacers from the Raptors? With the Siakam deal. But it seemed to be like a big trade. So I just want to get your thoughts. Uh, Steve? No, Pascal Siakam. Yes. Yes, we moved to basketball now. We'll get to football a little bit. You'd think so. But he's doing all right. Anyone else have any thoughts? Uh, all right, but Siakam's a good player, so I think we had to you know, gotta give him credit. He is gonna be a good player for them. But however, last night they got off to a loss as the Blazers spoiled the party for his debut, 118 to 115, after the blockbuster trade to the Pacers that happened there. Siakam did finish though with 21 points on 9 for 14 shooting and 6 rebounds and 3 assists. That's just 2 days after being traded. Okay, not bad, but it would have been nice to get a win, right? Right. Yeah. The game was a bit. The Blazers did not trail in the final 3 quarters of the game, led by a 37-point performance from power forward Jeremy Grant. That's with an I, not with a Y, for their 12th win of the year. Only 12 wins. Ugh. Malcolm Bogdan scored 30 points and was 9 for 18 shooting. The game did become a bit more interesting as the Blazers fans are hoping for, as they cut a double-digit lead that shrunk to 3 with 17 seconds left. Obviously, one loss does not spoil the trade. Of course not. For the Pacers, who made the deal to provide a versatile offense threat to work off superstar Tyrese Halliburton, nodding his 5 of 17 assists on the night via Siakam. The Suns and the Pacers will meet up again tomorrow, and Siakam will make his home debut against the Nuggets on Tuesday. All right. Anyone want to comment on that? Good game. They turned, but just came up a little bit short. Yes. Yeah. Anyone else have any thoughts? All right. As you know, I'd like to point out milestones, of course, in the sports world, and we have one to talk about. First of all, how many of you follow college basketball? Well, maybe not like me, but follow college basketball at all? Say aye if you do. All right. Anyone ever hear of John Calipari? He's a very well-respected basketball coach, and he's the coach now for Kentucky. Well, he had a milestone. Yeah, he had a milestone this week as he has 400th victory of the school, and is only the fourth coach to reach that mark at one school. The other 3 were Adolph Rupp of Kentucky of 876. That's an old timer. Billy Donovan of Florida at 467, and Dale Brown of LSU at 448. Now, here's the interesting thing, guys. Calipari said he was unaware that he hit 400 wins until a player came up and told him, saying during his post check-up, he said, "Congratulations, you did it." I forgot. And my players didn't have any idea. They just want to know, hey, when's dinner? Oh, sure. Spoil that moment, guys. All I would say is if you stick around long enough and have really good players, some good things will happen. Very true. With Wednesday's win, Cal Poly has 188 regular season victories in the conference. That's in the conference all-time leading Rupp with 397 wins, Brown 238, Brown. Let me read it again. Brown 397, Brown 238, Donovan 200, and former Alabama and Vanderbilt coach C.J. Newton with 195. Hey Steve, I thought Brown couldn't do anything for you. I guess now they could. Okay. Calipari, hello. Perry reached 400 wins in 516 games. That's the third fastest among active coaches to reach 400 victories in Division One. Uh, Bill Self of Kansas was first with he did that in 484 games, and Mark Few of Gonzaga did that in 489 games. So not bad. He is, of course, all three are legends. Among Calipari's accomplishments, listen to this: 845 wins, 823 vindicated after a mishap. Was number one team ranked in the Associated Press. Um, 6 wins against top ranked teams by the Associated Press. 57 tournament wins, 15 appearances in the Sweet 16, 27 wins of at least 20 wins, and 10 seasons with 30 wins in a season. Mighty impressive, don't you think, guys? Congratulations, coach. Yeah, Jimmy, you're a college basketball fan. You got anything to say about the coach? Because I mean, this is a very impressive list, and he deserves it. Yeah, I hope so after Game 4 wins. But next time, if you're aware of a milestone, maybe you should try to see if if you're paying attention to your stats. Yeah, yeah. All right. Anyone else? Steve. Mhm. Yeah. Dana. Mike. I know you do. Diane. I know you don't follow much, but you got to admit that is a rather great accomplishment. Yes, I do, and congratulations. Keep it up. I mean, he is a well-respected coach. Don't get me wrong here. Can be a little controversial at times, but that's part of the being a coach, being what a coach is. Steve, I got some news for you about the Capitals. Yeah, they signed forward Alexei Protas to a 5-year extension worth 16.8 gazillion dollars, all right, 60 million, a long-term contract to a young player showing potential. GM Brian McMillan announced the new deal yesterday. Um, the new deal begins next season. He will count for 3.3 million in change against the cap that runs through 2028, 2029. I'll be almost 60 by then. Yuck. Protas is one of the best players on the Capitals this season, exceeding expectations. He's a little bit low in the goal department. He only has 3 goals, but he does have 15 assists. Okay, not bad. We're excited to sign him with this long-term contract, said McClellan, as he has taken strides in his career, and we expect him to continue to improve and play an impactful role in years to come. Steve, you got to be happy with this. I mean, the Capitals need some work to do, as you know. Now we're heading into the second part of the season, and the conference standings are really piling up here, so they got to get moving here. Okay, good luck with that one. Thank you. No, my fudge exactly. Yeah, I don't think so. That's not a good idea. Anyone else want to comment on that one? Yeah. Or in the case of I call, what have you done for me lately? Hmm. Yes. Now, yeah. What have you done for me lately? Well, to be honest, nothing. Oh boy. Yeah. All right. Wait, who? Alex? Uh, yeah. There is a story I wanted to mention here because it's a pretty sad story at that, but I'll get to that in a little bit. Red Wings forward Patrick Kane suffered a lower body injury on Tuesday. Thankfully, it is not related to his hip injury. Thank goodness. Said by head coach Daryl Ladon. Kane will miss the Ranger road trip. Um, the training staff will check him once he gets back to Detroit. The Red Wings took on the Panthers on Wednesday and faced the Hurricanes on Friday. They will finish up the road. They began the road trip against the Maple Leafs last Sunday. Tough break though. And Detroit's doing so well this year too. I probably want a little different looks with Elias Ladon. It was roster with Kane adding the he'll likely be just 12 forwards and 6 defensemen. That's a lot. He was in the first period against Toronto on Tuesday, and Ladon said in his post-game interview the Red Wings needed to get a few more tests to get a great feel for his recovery. No kidding. In November, he signed a 1-year, $2.7 million deal with the Red Wings after spending his first 16 seasons of his career with the Blackhawks before a trade to the Rangers last spring, which only gave us the second, which did get us past the first round of the playoffs. Yeah, I know some of you Devils fans are happy about that. Kane joined the Red Wings 6 months after going hip surgery. Kane and his family relocated to Toronto to rehab from surgery. This was performed by Dr. Edward Sue and Ian McIntyre oversaw his rehab. In 19 games so far this season, he has 7 goals and 9 assists for the Red Wings. And they're doing pretty good right now, so let's keep it up, and hopefully they can make the playoffs. I'm hoping for it. All right, I know someone's watching the game, but turn it down. Yeah. And with, of course, this time of year becomes, weather-related incidents and does affect the sports world, as the Sabres and Blackhawks uh, were supposed to have a game, I believe, on Wednesday or Thursday, and it was postponed due to extreme weather. What a shock. There was a travel ban in the city of Buffalo, and local executives were hoping the game would be pushed back to save the public. It was pushed back to last night, and that game was played. The Blackhawks made the arena, which is usually enough for the league to go on with the game, but lake effect storm was expected to dump up to at least 2 feet of snow in the Buffalo area, maybe even three. This was the second time in a week that Buffalo has postponed this sporting event, as the Bills Steelers game, which was scheduled for Sunday, was moved back to Monday. Buffalo is rough. The San Jose Sharks will retire Joel Thornton's number sometime next season. Wow. Number 19, that is. The Sharks are Wednesday. I remember when he came in the league, crying out loud. Thornton's number 19 will be retired, and it'll just be the second number to be retired in team history. Patrick Marleau has number 12 retired last season. Also remember when he came in the league, too. There is not a date yet set for the ceremony. Thornton, yeah. No, he did not. Not at all. I mean, it was the big thing when he got drafted and everything. I remember the night he got drafted, but he was far from what everybody expected him to be. So I would say a great no. Thornton played about 24 seasons in the league, just like Chris Chelios did. I can't stand. Started with the Bruins after being selected first in 1997. He stayed with Boston for 8 seasons before heading west for the next 15 seasons with the Sharks. He did win 4 division titles and did make a Stanley Cup appearance in the 2015-16 season. Thornton won the Hart Trophy, and another one as well in the 2005-2006 season, and is the all-time team leader in assists and power play points, and second in points and fourth in goals overall. He played his final season with the Sharks in the 2019-2020 season. He spent the last 2 seasons of his career between the Maple Leafs and the Bears. Thornton announced his retirement just before the season began in October. I mean, yeah, a good player, yes. A legacy player? No. That's right now, guys. You know, yeah. Yes, I do. Right. I remember when he came into the league. Am I that old? My goodness. Wow. Uh, Betty, I know you don't follow hockey that much, but any thoughts? Hmm. Uh, yes. Mike? I know. Mm. He never played though for the Rangers though, but he was like an opposition. Jimmy, you follow hockey as much as I do. Yeah. No, no. Yeah. Not one of my favorite players, but I'll give him the respect he deserves. Diane, any thoughts on Thornton? Hmm. All right. Yeah, I do have sad news to report of what happened this week. I don't know if anybody has heard this or not, but tragedy hit the Warriors this past week as assistant coach Dijon Malajevic passed away on Wednesday morning for the Warriors at the age of 46. Uh, Warriors coach Steve Kerr says it was a shocking blow to the organization and a difficult time for his family and friends and anyone who worked with him. He suffered a heart attack during a team dinner while the team was playing in Utah. He passed away Wednesday morning at the hospital despite efforts to save his life. In fact, they postponed two games this week. The NBA postponed the Warriors Jazz game that was scheduled for Tuesday, Wednesday evening, but was called off due to a medical emergency involving him. Warriors staff members stayed overnight at the hospital and returned Wednesday morning to be by his side. Born in Siberia, he played in Siberia, Montenegro, and Spain and Turkey before turning to coaching overseas, but he did join Kerr's staff with the Warriors after that. He was also an assistant coach for the Spurs and the Rockets. Just like that, a heart attack at 46 years old. I mean, everything was going fine, perfectly. I'm ready for the game. Let's have our team dinner. Everything seemed to be fine. And then all of a sudden, you have a heart attack. It just goes to show you that you never know when that can happen at the exact moment when something tragic can happen. Let me tell you something, guys. I know I should mention this on the air, but I speak from experience because where are we now? We're January 11, almost 2 years ago. Yeah, almost 2 years ago. I almost said last year. My mom, out of nowhere, suffered a heart attack from out of nowhere. Which we just having a perfectly funny. It was the weekend of Valentine's Day and whatnot, and we didn't know what's going on at 10:45 at night on a Friday. She had to go to the hospital. We didn't know what's going on. We thought it was a heart attack, but thank goodness my mom was alive, still here, because that would have been devastating to us. You gotta react. You gotta react quickly when that happens because you never know it can be taken just like that. And we sympathize with the Warriors. Yeah, yeah, yes, very, yes, and probably, but just to see that happen, out of nowhere, and he's only 46 years old. That's younger than I am. That's the most saddest part of all, I think. All right, turning to baseball as we're about 6 weeks away from the start of training camp. Oh boy, already. All right, one of baseball's best relievers is off the market as Josh Hader signed a 5-year, $95 gazillion deal with the Astros yesterday. well, 95 million. You get the point. He was ranked on the Yahoo's top 25 list of this winter's 25 free agents. The contract is the largest by a reliever in baseball history by a change's annual value, but does not contain financial deferrals. Of course, I'm always the last to know. Duh. While with this move, the Astros picked a top reliever in baseball in his last 7 seasons and bolsters a very strong bullpen. Since making his debut with the Brewers back in 2017, he has posted the highest WAR among relievers in his career, and he's a lefty with a 2.50 ERA, more than 388 innings, and has struck out 648 batters. In his 7th season, he has made 5 All-Star appearances and won the National League Reliever of the Year award 3 times. Not 3 consecutive times, but 3 times overall. Yeah. So it looks like the Astros got a good deal, and they're going to try and make another run for the World Series, much to my dismay. Any thoughts on that? I hope they don't make it, but because you know how I feel about the Astros. But seems to be a good deal for them. Don't we think so, Betty? Josh Hader going to the Astros. Yuck. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Thank you. So do I. Yes. No, neither can I. Well, Bird, I can't stand the Astros anyway. By the way, did anybody hear any trash cans during that report? No. Oh, okay. Already. That was a joke. That was a joke, people. Yeah. I thought I heard a trash can when I mentioned the Houston Astros. Oh no. Oh. Okay. Womp womp womp. Ah, here's a story I think somebody's been waiting for. Oh, Mikey, you might want to listen to this. Okay, Mets fans, you're gonna love it. I know Mike will too. Mets legends of the '80s, Doc Gooden and Darryl Strawberry, will have their numbers retired during the upcoming season, though not in the same ceremony. The announcement came on Thursday. The first will be Gooden's number 16, will hang from the Raptors on April 14th, while Strawberry will have his number 18 retired on hoist up on June 1st. The jerseys will join old timer Casey Stengel's number 37 in 1965. That's an old time player. Gail Hodges, number 14 in 1973. Tom Seaver's number 41 in 1988. Mike Piazza, number 31 in 2016. Mike, I know you remember that. That is number 17 in 2022. I think you also remember that. The Say Hey Kid, Willie Mays, number 24. Although he didn't always play for the Mets, but he did play for them for a while. And Jackie Robinson, number 42, are retired throughout the league. The former Mets teammates who helped win the Mets the '86 World Series title, as it rolls past Buckner, and here comes 9, the Mets won it. Oh, never mind. Okay. Sorry. Oh, boy. And won the NL Rookie of the Year. Both won, actually, in consecutive seasons. Discussed the honors in a Zoom interview on Wednesday. Strawberry says heart will always be with the true Mets are orange and blue. Gooden said the fans will always be special to me. They cared about me and believed in me when I did not believe in myself and gave me the hope to go on. And that's something you don't forget. Amen to that. Of course, he also was going through, drug problems as well. And that's what I think, what he meant by the fans never gave up on him, because he was going through that time. In 17 seasons, Strawberry was an 8-time All-Star, including 7 straight with the Mets from 1983 to, I think it's actually 1989, batting .259 with 353 home runs and 1,000 RBIs and 221 stolen bases. Gooden won 20 games as a starting pitcher in 1985, and became the youngest NL Cy Young winner at 19. Yeah, 19, wow. And I was only, 15 then. He was selected to 4 All-Star games while the Mets, with the Mets, and won the 1984 NL Rookie of the Year award, a year after Strawberry won the award earlier. In 16 seasons, he posted a 194 and 112 record with a 3.51 ERA and 2,293 strikeouts. That's when the Mets were really good, guys. That's when they were really good. Both have won titles, though, with the Yankees. Sorry. Back in the day. As Gooden did twice in 1996 and 1999. I remember that. And Strawberry did in 2000. So, Mike, being you're the number one Mets fans here, what do you make of it? It's quite an honor. And this game is tied. Yes, of course. He was great for the Mets. That's when the Mets were dominant. That's when they were outdoing the Yankees. Oh boy. Gary Carter, sure. Yeah. Jimmy, since you're from the area, any thoughts? Absolutely. Hmm. Uh, Alex? Uh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Right. Sure. More, yeah, but I think more so Daryl. Yeah, right. Yeah. And also in that 1996 season, when the Yankees won, Dwight Gooden pitched a no hitter. I remember that. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, they did. Die. Any thoughts, Betty? Betty? Hmm. James, any thoughts? Both are world deserving. Even though I'm a Yankee fan, but I don't deny greatness when I see it, even if it is on the opposing team. Well, yeah. But congratulations. Okay, the Blue Jays have reached a 4-year, $32 million deal with Cuban right-hander Yarnell Rodriguez. Multiple outlets reported on Wednesday. The deal is pending completion of physical and a resolution of immigration hurdles. Okay. Currently, he's in the Dominican Republic, while other teams are evaluating him. Sources from ESPN Deportes, that's the Spanish ESPN, that Toronto was one of the teams that start games where he is usually preferred to others who saw him as a reliever. Rodriguez was 10-10 with a 3.3 in 7 relief appearances for the Nippon Pro League in Japan from 2020 to 2023. Last pitch in the WBC Classic in 2023 after deciding not to return to Japan. The Dragons, which released in November, that's the team. The Dragons released him in November of last year, making him a free agent. Rodriguez, whose fastball hits the mid 90s, made 2 starts in the WBC and finished with a 2.45 ERA with 10 strikeouts in 7.1 innings. Yeah, yeah. Well, it could be a threat to the maybe the division. I don't know what he's going to do when he plays against us, but I think Yankee fans keep an eye on this one, see how it goes with this. But he hasn't played much here in the states, so it's gonna take I think a little while for him to get used to it because Japanese baseball does play a little bit different style than we do here in the North American territory. So, but I'm keeping my eye on this guy. And the Mariners have signed right-hander Austin. Hope we don't mess this name up. Voth to a 1-year contract. The announcement was made on Thursday. Finance details for the pitcher who played college at Washington were not disclosed. Well, not to my knowledge. Anywho, Voth made 25 relief appearances for the Oilers last season. Despite the fact they had a great season, he only finished 1-2 with a 5.19 ERA in 34 innings and walked 15. 5 point anything I think above 4 is kind of like borderline. Hmm. Now entering his seventh inning, spending time with the Nationals and Oilers, Steve. Oilers. He's 15-14 with a 4.90 ERA with 282 strikeouts and just short of 3 innings pitched. He did play for both sides of the Baltimore Washington area. Uh, what do you make of that now that he's moving out west? In other words, you thought, bye bye, right? Bye bye. Yeah, you couldn't care less. You didn't really like him, did you? Uh, okay, okay. Another interesting story here. Uh, you guys are familiar with Indianapolis Colts Jim Israel, right? Boy, have I got a story for you. Now, this happened last month. Let's keep that in mind, okay? This happened last month. He's okay now, but last month he was found unresponsive and struggling to breathe before being transported to a hospital by paramedics last month after a suspected overdose, according to a police report by ESPN. He was found in bed and was cold to the touch when emergency personnel responded reached him out on December 8th, according to the Carmel, Indiana police. An officer said his pulse was slow and weak. He's likely to be alive. Radio traffic accessed by ESPN indicated that the fire personnel were dispatched to his home at 4:30 a.m. and found him not responding. Israel was receiving a dose of narcan, a medicine that is used to reverse the effects of an opiate overdose. There's a lot of problems with that in this country. From the first police officers on the scene, according to the report and response, shortly before he was transported to the hospital by the paramedics. Officers noted a number of different medications that Israel was taking, but so but also noticed that it was unclear whether the substance was taken before he was found in distress. The specific medications were reacted from the report for privacy reasons. The incident was first reported by TMZ on Wednesday morning. Not that I believe anything TMZ says, but in this case, I think I got to believe. It also revealed last week that Israel was suffering from a severe respiratory illness, uh, declined to offer specific responses, but issued a statement saying that the coach is continuing to recover from his illness. They are not making more comments at the time, as privacy is to be respected. There's a lot of opiate abuse that happens in this country, and that's really hurting a lot of people, and it's also hurting the coach as well. I just wish him the best that you can. That's not that I'm a Colts fan, but I do hope that he's gonna feel better. Got one more football note here as the Ravens running back Melvin Gordon was waived on Thursday, but is expected to remain with the team. He is expected to resign to the practice squad, according to a source. He was limited to a reserve role before the start of camp back in July. In 4 games, Gordon had rushed for 26 yards, 81 carries, and 1 touchdown. Personally, I don't know why you're giving this guy another chance. This move comes 2 weeks after he struggled in the regular season finale against the Steelers, where he fumbled the ball and lost the game. Oh, well. It was his 19th fumble of his career, the most by a non-quarterback since 2015. It is unknown how the Ravens will handle the running back for today's game against Houston. One option is to promote 4-time Pro Bowl running back Dalvin Cook to go along with Gus Edwards and Justice Hill. Sorry if this is a little bit outdated. Right. Gordon was like the 15th in 2015 by the Chargers. Back then they were in San Diego. As rushed for 6,543 yards, 56 touchdowns in 9 seasons for the Chargers, Broncos, and Ravens. And a partridge in a pear tree. Okay. All right, guys. So let's get started with our football predictions for the playoffs here. As we're down to the last 8 teams. All right. So we're tied now at 10 with 2 minutes to go in the second quarter between the Texans and the Ravens. Benny, who do you got? Steve. Okay. Uh, Diane. Mike. James. James. I know he's watching the game. You got Ravens or Texans in this game. Okay. Dana, Jimmy, Alex. Quote the Raven nevermore. All right, moving on. 8 o'clock game, 8:15 actually. Packers versus the Lions. No, I'm sorry, Packers versus 49ers. Sorry. All right. Sorry. Betty. Ooh. Steve. Mike. Jimmy. James. Diane. Dana. Did I get everybody? Okay, did I get everybody? Okay. If I didn't, speak now for hold your peace. I'm going. Okay, I'm going though with the 49ers. Okay, I'm going with 49ers. Uh, for tomorrow. Where'd it go? Oh, okay. For tomorrow, 3 o'clock. Buccaneers, Lions. Betty, Steve, um, Mike. All right. Diane, James, Dana, Jimmy, Alex. Well, I'll get news for you. I'm going to go with Detroit, and I'm not lying. Oh, yeah. Okay, moving on. Ha ha ha. I do my own jokes, guys. Remember that. And yeah. Thankfully, no one will hear this show later on. All right, 6:30. Okay, Chiefs versus the Bills. I'm holding up on Diane because I know the answer already. Betty. Uh-huh. Steve. Mike. James. Jimmy. Dana. And okay, Diane, do it. Thank you. What? You're going with the Chiefs or Buffalo? I did. But in spite of the rash of injuries, I still think Buffalo is going to be the Chiefs. Um, I don't know about with Mahomes. He's with anymore. So I'm going Buffalo in the upset here. And my sleeper pick, okay, my sleeper pick though is the Lions. I like what they're doing. So how about that? Yeah, I'm going to go with them. And if y'all think I'm crazy, well, then again, you should know it by now. I mean, come on, I've been doing this for 6 years now. All right, the Browns. Okay, Bay, get ready. Are in the midst of a complete overhaul with their offense, coaching staff. One of their first members was offensive coordinator Alex Van Pelt. It was about after the loss to the Texans last week. A team spokesman told ESPN that Van Pelt remains under contract and no final decision has been made as of yet. Uh, but as of Thursday afternoon, Van Pelt confirmed the news of his departure into ESPN a text message. After working as a quarterbacks coach for the Packers and Bengals, Van Pelt joined the Browns as their offensive coach in 2020. Head coach Kevin Stefanski, however, handled the play calling. Even though the Browns did not reach the playoffs with 5 different quarterbacks, they were just simply outmatched by the Texans. Since then, several other coaches from the sideline have been fired. The Browns fired coach, coach Stub Mitchell did not retain the rights to tight ends coach T.J. McCarthy. Mitchell and joined the Browns in 2018. McCarthy arrived along with Stefanski in 2020. Ugh. And that's why they call it Cleveland the mistake by the lake. Oh, yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you. I'll be here all week. Oh, boy. Christian McCaffrey returned to the practice field for the 49ers after suffering a right calf injury. He suffered it in Week 17 against the Commanders. He did not play in the season finale against the Rams, a game, though, that meant nothing anyway. He was back at the practice on Thursday, preparing for this week's NFC division game against the Packers. McCaffrey was a full participant in Wednesday's practice. And according to head coach Kyle Shanahan, he's ready for the game. So am I. I think he's geared up and ready for today, said Shanahan, probably in the same way he was in a playoff game when he was 5 or on a scrimmage. Christian is always the same. He is always waiting for that moment, and he's been waiting this moment for quite a while. Sure. McCaffrey and the Niners were optimistic over the last 2 weeks and said he would be fine for the postseason, but this is a welcome development given that McCaffrey has meant to the Niners all season long. Despite missing the last game of the season, McCaffrey won the league rushing title over Derrick Henry with 1,459 yards. That's 292 more than Henry. Since they clinched the top spot in the NFC, they did not play in the wild card round last weekend, but did help practice on Thursday and Friday of last week, and even wore pads for Friday's practice. McCaffrey did not participate in either workout. All right, so we'll do a quick recap of this week in history. By the way, yeah. So it's gonna be a pretty good division round, I would think. Okay, gotta hurry. 2 hours goes fast in this show, folks. As if you didn't know. In sports history. Okay, so we'll just do a few of the more recent ones since, yeah, that'd be better in the recent categories. 1982, former future Hockey Hall of Famer Darryl Sitter is traded to Toronto Maple Leafs to the Philadelphia Flyers in exchange for Rich Costello, a second-round pick, and future draft considerations. It's amazing how I remember this. 1985, the 49ers beat the Miami Dolphins 38-16 in the Super Bowl. Joe Montana, MVP. 1989, Mario Lemieux becomes the second player in NHL history to score 50 goals in less than 50 games. He did it in the 44th game in a Pens loss to the Jets. 1991, the Bills beat the Raiders 51-3. 1991, the Giants beat the 49ers 15-13 on their way to the Super Bowl. We all remember that. 1994-95, the NHL season begins after a lengthy strike. I remember that. Ugh, that was ugly. AFC Championship in 2008. New England beats the Chargers 21-12. 2008 in the NFC, the Giants beat the Packers 23-20 in overtime. In 2013, Ravens beat the Patriots 28-13. In 2013, the Falcons beat the 49ers beat the Falcons 28-24. In the AFC in 2019, the Patriots beat the Chiefs 37-31 in overtime. In the 2019 NFC Championship game, the Rams beat the Saints 26-23 in overtime. My goodness. Okay, that's going to about do it. Rasal's coming up. Really have a fine show for you. I hope you get a chance to check it out. I will in a few minutes. A great show again. Betty, thank you for coming in. And everybody else, I'll be back next week, same time, same station, as we'll recap the division round and your thoughts on the NFL championship games. That'll be next week. So stay tuned for that. Of course, we'll also have other news and notes as well. So, and of course, NBA and NHL and everything else. So I hope you all tune in for that as well. It should be a very interesting week as we also get set for the post. Get ready for the Super Bowl. By next week, next Sunday, we'll know who's in. So keep your eye on that. All right, I'm gonna get out of here. Results coming up. Remember, check us out on YouTube as well. And on that note, have a good week, and hopefully you'll see you next week. So thanks for tuning in. Good night.